Hi, ChickenboneJohn here. I'm doing a quick video about bar chords, this sort of thing, on the cigar box guitar because Michael on Facebook had difficulty with this. So I'm going to talk you through it. Firstly, make sure you're seated and comfortable with the guitar. I know in the video I think Michael was stood without the guitar on a strap and he was sort of doing this thing, which really makes it difficult. If you're going to stand, put a strap on the guitar. You may even need a strap on the guitar to get comfortable if you're sitting down. So here we go. First thing that's really important, and we're dealing with the left hand, your fretting hand, obviously right hand if you're to the way around, left-handed, but we're going to be dealing with the left hand, and what's vitally important is this hand must not be holding up the neck. May sound crazy, but you don't want to be actually holding the guitar neck. I'm sat here and you see I've got the weight of my forearm on the guitar holding it in place. I'm sat up straight on a hard chair. Don't slouch, don't lean back, don't hunch over. You want to be sat straight up comfortably on a good, so like kitchen or office chair like I am here, not slouched on the sofa or an easy chair. Okay, so get the guitar so you don't have to hold it up with this hand. There's two ways of doing it. As I say, balancing it on your thigh, just sitting it down on your thigh and letting this hand, so you can pluck it, just hold it in place. The other way is banjo or classical style, which you actually put it in between your legs like you would a classical guitar or a banjo. This is really good actually, because one thing it does do, it brings everything up, brings this hand into the right position, and you will see here my elbow is not into my body. It forces this hand out to play in quite a free action. I don't particularly get on with it, but some people really like it, and technically it's very good, and I think that's why you'll see classical guitar players play. It frees this arm up. The last thing you want to do, and it's a danger of this position, is to do things like this. If you're bringing my elbow in so it's in my waist, because then that's restricting how much your hand can move, or doing this, hunching forward, putting your elbow down onto your thigh and doing this. You see, my whole body's twisted. It's really a bad posture. You want to be sat up straight. If you're doing this position, I say don't swing your elbow into your hip thinking it's going to give you some stability. It will just make matters worse. Okay, and the other thing is you must not grip the neck. You need to start with a position where it's balanced on your lap, or as I say, if that don't work, put a strap on it or a piece of string. That's really essential. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do a close-up on the neck now to see if you can show you in much more detail how to do this. If I show it for you with this position, the one thing you'll see is I'm just going to put my hand underneath and put a finger across. And one tip I find is if you think about where your wrist is, where you'd wear a wristwatch, push that forward. See if you watch what happens, and I'm just going to drop my elbow and my wrist, and I'm almost pushing it through. What it does, it flattens my finger against the fretboard and allows me to pinch the neck. Okay, we'll cut away to do a close-up. Hopefully we can show this in much more detail. Here we are. I'm going to work on the 5th fret, and this is assuming you've got a fretted guitar like this with reasonably low action. All I'm going to do is bring my hand through underneath, rest my thumb on the back of the neck, and just drop my finger on here. So you should be able to see I'm using from the tip to the second joint across here. I'm not twisting my hand that way or that way. Somebody said something about using the bone in your hand. Now that's totally impractical. Your hand wants to be totally relaxed. See, just flat, make contact with the thumb on the back of the neck, drop the finger down and just pinch together. We're just pinching together like that. The thumb can come back here a little if you prefer it, but really thumb in the middle of the neck, press down, and there we go. Okay, that's all there is to it. One thing which I find helpful is thinking about the back of your wrist where you'd wear your wristwatch. Try dropping that dropping and bringing that forward, so your hand is actually rotating to give your hands, keep your fingers flat. If you're doing it from this position, you're not going to bend. You don't want to be bending your finger. If you see, the finger is quite flat. If you're doing it from this position with your hand up here and the wrist high, that finger is really going to be awkward. So you need to drop the wrist and let it rotate underneath. You can push through with your elbow to give you that position. Okay? And it's just a simple pinch. That's all there is to it. If you notice, the rest of my hand here, none of this is touching. The only part touching the guitar is going to be the tip of my thumb and this part of my finger. Here we go again. And then that should leave your hand nice and relaxed, so you can do that's straightforward. So that's your bar chord, and obviously you can slide that up, but always with no contact with the neck at all, apart from the thumb on the back and the first two joints of your finger across the fretboard. So remember to drop your wrist. Don't do that. Don't put the guitar on the palm of your hand. Don't do this. Don't put it in the web of your hand like this. Don't hook your thumb over the top. I know people say there are no rules, but this makes it a lot easier. So remember, don't grab the neck. Don't put it in the palm of your hand. Don't put it here in the web. Don't hook your thumb. Thumb goes on the back, and then you just lightly pinch between your thumb and your finger, and you have your bar chord. It is as simple as that. It will take a little bit of work as your muscles get used to those unusual movements, in particular this rotating of the wrist through. See, and drop from here. If I drop the wrist, see, it's automatic. If I have my wrist raised here, the palm raised, drop my wrist, rotate it through, and you can see how my finger comes into a natural position, and it puts your other fingers right where you need them. I'm not wearing a slide for this, but once we get back in again, so you just put the hand here. So if you raise your palm and your wrist and then drop it, you can see automatically my finger's coming down, and it requires very little pressure then to pinch between here. That's all, and then all your fingers are ready to start doing chords and the bass. So they can, and you can just move it up and down. So there you go. Remember, just bring your hand flat through here till your thumb touches. Let your palm drop and the wrist run forward, rotate forward, finger across, bar chord. The rest of your fingers are now in the correct position for that. Okay, hope that helps. Some use. Remember, get yourself seated properly or stood with a strap. Don't grab a fistful of neck. You only need to grip it quite lightly between your finger and your thumb to get that bar chord down. That's about all there is to it. It will feel strange. If it starts hurting, just stop, have another go the next day. But the important thing, as I say, good posture. Don't bring your elbow into the body. Sit up straight, finger across here at right angles to the neck, just lightly pinching with your finger and your thumb. That's all you need to do. Okay, hope that's been some use. Bye for now.